Alright, so we have a gold Ana here. It looks like we're starting in the middle just a tiny bit, but still a long game, so it should be plenty.
There you go.
Okay, so first off, I'm noticing you are grouped up. Not a bad sleep, but you put yourself in a really stupid position after that. So, let's see here. So Genji, so we see our enemies are either going to come from here or here. That's it. I assume if we're capping, there's no one behind us to clear out. Maybe a bold assumption, but that's it. So if they're pushing along here, why would we rotate here to just another spot enemies can come from? Let's get that sleep, and let's rotate back here. Ana doesn't even need to be on point at all. In fact, Ana can flourish totally off point on Horizon Lunar Colony. So let's take a look at this real quick. Super short into the map, and I'm not paying attention. There we go. Okay, so some real quick red so that we can see where our enemies can come from. They can come basically anywhere back here because they would be spawning out that door. And they can come basically anywhere over here because they would be spawning out that door. And they can even kind of end up here if they want to go along like a long flank. But really, on a basic level, we should see most of our enemies here or here. They don't really get too much value elsewhere. So then that leaves us a plethora of pretty decent spots. We can position ourselves in this room if we would like to just shoot across, and we're fairly confident that most of our enemies are going to come from over here. We can position ourselves on this high ground. If our enemies didn't have anyone to stop us most of the time, we can take basically free shots. You can go up here, but then you're putting yourself in unnecessary risk. So I don't really want to highlight that or even this, because most of the time you could just stay within this zone here and get all you needed. You can play mid, right? You have free sightlines on the point. You can play back here where you have free sightlines. You can play over, under, to the side and under this area over here, and you have really solid choices. As Ana, we'll go yellow for places that I don't think you should ever end up, because I can see how you can end up there, but there's no real reason for you to be there. Keep in mind, we definitely shouldn't be in red, no matter what. That's where our enemies are literally coming from. So I don't understand why, like, we're starting this VOD and we are smack dab in the middle of this yellow. And then we rotate through more yellow into red, and that's how we get killed right off the bat. So I hope some of this positioning stuff kind of makes sense to you right off the bat, and we are definitely jumping straight in. The good positions would be over here, back here, mid, and high ground. And you'd be having a lot better time. And it kind of forms that U. You can kind of see it. There's almost always a U of good positioning.
To get that right first.
There you go.
And we rotate. We're rotating in the yellow, closer to the red, closer to the red, closer to the red, and we're dead.
If you can get that right.
Or we should have died.
Nice. All right,
But
winning that.
there's no reason for us to do stuff like that.
Let's go right and go immediately right. No
And you guys
hesitation.
stick
Just go.
together. I tell you guys.
So your intro
Okay.
is terrible positioning?
You gonna junk?
Okay.
Give it
Don't go right, don't go right. Go
Well, I guess we're in the game now.
right, go bottom right. Go bottom
They have fucking beautiful DPS? Are you serious?
Can we take out this turret?
You are hardcore feeding here. You are the most forward person on your team, and you continue to go forward when you know you have teammates that need healing. Any one of these junk mines could have killed you. I mean, look how insane this is. And yet you push forward. That is a major yikes on your positioning.
Focus turret. Oh, we got Genji.
And your whole team is critical. And you were pushing up a tight corridor to go DPS or something.
Shoot him. Shoot him.
I'm gonna try to jump up there and get that torb. I don't know if we killed him or not.
We killed the Tor.
I'll boop
Oh,
my way.
okay, so he's walking back.
Junkrat's really low.
Let your team know that they're line of sighting you. You can't see them.
What are they doing?
I don't know.
It's a good point. Just do it quick.
No.
So your team actually hard carried you there. Like you should have never, ever, ever, ever succeeded.
Get back. He's fast.
He'll get back to you quick, yeah. I would not go where all of
Yeah,
them.
I'm already here. I'm already here.
Oh, spread out.
Kill it, kill it. Oh no. You gotta go for right.
Yeah, I would reset that.
Yeah, just come back, come back. Come
Whoever
back.
called to reset is 100% right. None of you should be past that choke right now.
Can,
Especially not against a Genji with how they've been pushing and stuff like that.
Okay.
We here?
Ah, that's Genji right here.
Tor turret's on the top of
Junkrat's behind me.
There's that ult. Huge.
Got bit.
So your intro clip was of you having a pretty nice sleep on a nano Genji, or a blading Genji. And then your clip now is you can see him dash across the ceiling, and yet you're ignoring him even though your sleep is off cooldown. Weird.
There's that.
Junkrat. Behind me.
There's that ult. Huge.
Got bit.
I feel like we just kind of nanoed our Ryan for fun. Like we didn't really know what was going on.
Literally one. Fuck you, Mercy. Fuck you, Mercy.
Oh, Mercy res.
Ah.
Got it.
To use her ult. Get this Genji, please. They're just like talking.
And again, we're kind of rotated over to the red with our positioning that we talked about earlier. And we're smack dab in the heart of the yellow. So we should be playing towards one of those blue zones where we're safe. Everything you're doing right now, you could be doing and more from a high ground. Oh, this is the same.
Oh my
That
God,
makes more
yes.
sense.
Ah, nice. If you can get that Mercy, you guys are winning that. Nice. Alright, you're winning that.
There's a turret somewhere.
Damn.
Top left. Sorry, top right corner.
Imagine if you would have just been on point or
I can get it.
up on high ground that entire time.
Reset.
Oh, back. Oh.
Yeah, we need to reset. Just let them use ults.
There's no reason for you to be here right now. Like you're hard staggering.
Switch.
Like really, really, really bad. You guys are playing in a 6-stack, and yes, it is an LFG 6-stack, but that doesn't change the fact that you guys need communication if you're going to play in a 6-stack.
Let's go left side. Left.
Back up, Ryan. Always healing there.
One more in a fade. Nice.
Thank you, Anna.
Good pick.
Go, move in off that shit.
They're all right here. Nice.
So this is an issue that a lot of Anas have that I talk about with them very commonly. It can be super tempting to heal DPS. And do DPS need your heals sometimes? Yes. Yes, 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 they do. The people who deserve your heals and who truly should be getting your heals pretty much non-stop are your tanks. So we stopped there to heal our DPS and our Ryan died because of us. We have to, when we're playing Ana sometimes, essentially ignore our DPS because our tanks will get melted.
Turret's down, going at top.
Turret's down.
It's not all the time, it's not in all situations, but that's a great way to make sure that you're getting value by keeping your tanks up.
Holy shit, there's a junker with 1 hit point at top. 1 hit point.
Again. Just going for you, Ronnie. Loads you got point.
Yikes. Yikes. May want to talk to your diva about that one.
Don't use those.
But still, you're rotating to a more dangerous position when you get scared.
Okay, bye.
One more tick.
Like, you were just jumping away. You could have done that into a safe
Trying to
position.
back up, but
Back. Reaper. Reaper.
You're not getting rid of me that
Can you put up your shield? Can you put up your shield?
Yeah, sure. Take shield down to half or lower before we can get in.
he wanted to ult.
We can kill that
I know
Reaper.
he wanted to ult.
Get set up even nicely.
I can get the ult in
Alright,
like
Brian
5
is top
Brian
right.
is a top.
So you guys just used your McCree ult so that you could push in with a low shield. But then you didn't push in,
Orb and Ryan are right here.
so we wasted our McCree ult.
And Junk.
Having plans is one thing, acting on those plans is a
Huge.
totally different thing.
Oh,
Go.
go to point. Ryan.
Turret, get the turret, please.
I'm
Turret,
getting it.
please.
McCree's getting it.
Way. Looking for help.
So far, your number one issue on your Ana is that your positioning is terrible. Some other issues like,
Half.
you know,
Junkrat.
not trying to even sleep a blading Genji,
Then Orb on her, I can't.
and like healing the wrong target and stuff would definitely help you. But right now, if you literally only focused on your where are you going? What? What are you doing?
Finish it off.
What?
Hey, yeah, tanks just stick together.
Junk's under.
What?
Underneath here.
This is bad. You cannot do that. You cannot.
Careful,
Underneath
careful,
it. They're
careful.
going on the
Your
bottom.
Winston decided to suicide by missing. I don't even know. But you cannot suicide just because your Winston wants to suicide. And this goes right back to what I was saying.
Oh,
Your
God.
positioning
Okay, then.
is terrible.
We might want that McCree ult.
Yes, you have other issues, but like that right there was a case of terrible positioning. Your death on first point,
just
when
gonna
your
waste
team
a little
capped
time.
literally without you, was a case of terrible positioning. You're hard staggering now.
2 on point.
Absolutely
Winnable.
gotta focus on positioning.
Okay, guys, I'm not doing it.
It's too
You
late.
guys
It's
aren't
already
taking
too
it.
late.
Come back. All the way back. Speed boost. Speed boost back.
Well, you guys split up, so.
They're coming out top.
Fucking cat, get out of here. Shit.
You're so worried about getting up top here that you didn't turn around to heal any of your teammates who were actively getting critical up here while you were getting this high ground. You could have healed them down here, and there's great spots for defense too that you can stand on this map on Ana that you don't need to be absolutely feeding. So on second point, you can stand under here. That's a great spot. You can take this high ground. That's a great spot. Again, you can go in here is a great spot. You do not, under any circumstances, need to rotate all around through the stairs, up and around, just so that you can get here to shoot the people that are here. Not when you can literally see them from every other part of the map. It's insane.
They have 3
You
DPS.
guys drop down. We can't kill you up there.
They have 4 DPS.
And now we're just in danger because we went to this position.
Yeah, I've got a barrier right here.
We ran out across the open.
Jeez.
We ran, we ran out across the open while Soldier was visoring, and then we didn't turn around to kill the junk at all until we were again in the open.
Where's the fair? Oh, I can get her. Give me a second. Or not. Fuck.
We really shouldn't be using our nade just to heal, so you know. There's no reason that you couldn't have just shot those people.
Got the Pharah.
Careful, Tracer. Careful, Monkey.
Look at those beautiful sightlines you have, and you're so much safer than you've been. I hate that you nanoed your Ryan there, though. You can't even see what's going on.
Nice.
You just nanoed your Ryan literally for fun.
Come back.
Got a second.
Yeah, that was weird.
Yeah, they fucking melted that.
Back a little bit, guys.
Fair's half. Bubble on point, but it's going down really quick.
Watch out.
Oh fuck. That fair's gonna ult.
Yikes. No reason we needed to go point there. We could have just continued to heal our Ryan, let our Ryan know that he was LOSing us, and probably had a better time.
Keep dancing.
Come on. They don't have second tick, just get on. Ooh.
Fucking Genji.
Keep holding.
My team still needs me.
It's just Genji.
Not gonna comment too much there, because it was kind of a last second stall. Like, was there stuff we could do better? Yes, but last second
that's not
stalls
where I
kind of
want
just go that way.
Let's play far back. Make them come to point.
Just be careful not to randomly sleep like that, especially when you know that they have ults and they have a Genji. So Genji can very easily kill you by diving you if you don't have your sleep. And when they have ults, like, you may be the one who needs to sleep those ults. And so we want to be a tiny bit careful not to make sure we're not just randomly
I can't jump for
sleeping.
another 3 seconds. Okay.
Far's half.
Zeus ults.
I don't have one. I'm dead.
Touch. Big touch. Trigger touch.
The CLB.
Gonna beat and I was gonna immediately get killed by 6 people. I'm gonna save it for when we respawn and go.
I'm coming.
Get on it.
Faster.
Are hard to kill.
Well, we held it for a while.
Going left. No hard
No,
left.
you two need to coordinate your dive.
Go.
You're not all gonna be
Alright.
together.
You want to just go straight for the point?
Someone get the jump rat. Get the jump rat first. We need to get the jump rat.
Okay. They have a Mei. That is like.
So if this is what your team really wanted to do, is there any reason you couldn't have stayed main? Especially because your team said that they were going to dive. You could have just stayed main and probably had a really good time healing them.
Mercy.
Is this sort of working out for you? Yes, but you're consistently getting farmed by their DPS, which didn't need to
You
happen.
don't need to dive.
They keep focusing you because you're in the wrong position.
Ah, she's.
Yeah. Yep.
Yeah.
Are you diving? If so, where?
Going left.
I'm going to top.
I'm going top right.
The air sword is pulling up there.
DPS, get on me. Let's go.
And again, I've talked about this earlier, and I will continue to talk about it. We ignored our Winston to heal our Genji, who frankly doesn't matter to Ana when you're playing Ana, and our Winston died.
DPS, get on
There's our Winston. Glad we're healing our Genji, though.
me. Let's go.
Oh, I fucking landed on it.
You got
Gotta do it
melted,
quick.
dude.
Yeah.
And there's our diva, because again, we were healing
Joker had
DPS.
a trap on the bottom edge.
You guys have lost this. I don't understand why you're pushing.
Out.
Get out, get out, get out.
You should be dying. You're going
We
to
got 40
stagger.
seconds. Get one more push. Get out.
My ultimate is ready. Get in there, and I will boost.
Yep. I mean, no surprise at all. Literally no surprise.
Let's go a direction we can follow the tanks in, because our DPS gets deployed up there real quick.
That's just gonna be straight onto the point.
Go
I
left
would
then.
nano Winston and have him dive in there.
This is doing great. That's great.
Second, let's get everybody
Ready?
here. Hold on, get her on.
We don't have time to get for
One hit point. And then
We don't
that is really-
have time.
Okay, touch, no matter what, touch.
Doing it. There we go. There you go.
frozen.
Free. Try to get a cheeky deadeye.
You're going to be okay.
Okay.
I'm stuck.
It's a little bit interesting here. You and your Winston kind of collectively threw your only chance because you nanoed him before he even got on point,
Way earlier.
which he didn't need just to get on point, and then he primaled to get on point. And so you use nano and primal at the same time, and not even on like a target. So you and your Winston needed to communicate that either through typing, talking, emoting, using both of those at the same time, and before they were even either of them were needed, was a hard throw.
Oh,
They also have a Reaper.
Are you still trying to come up these stairs here?
Junkrat's going on the right side to the
About to
point.
get sandwiched.
Oh, God.
I need help with this junk.
I
He's
need
low.
you.
Yeah, we threw that by going away from where we were safe. So over here, we were pretty safe. Could have stayed in kind of this area, had a good time, but we went into the fight and threw that.
About to get sandwiched.
Oh,
Yeah, you
anything
can
on
come down.
point?
Can we come over here where they are, please?
We're fighting too.
Fighting in 2 different places.
Let's go to point. Point.
I said they were coming into point like 3 times. There we go. There we go.
Took him a very long time to do that. But what happened there is we threw both
Get
of
that
our
fucking red,
cooldowns,
get
so
it.
like the second we came alive.
Too high.
And so we didn't have any to stop the Genji.
Feel the truth.
Oh yeah, get her.
Yeah, Moira is a good choice. Bottom right. Watch this brig.
We're good.
That brig is for you, Reaper.
Got her.
Get into position.
Hey, hey, hey.
I need kills.
Oh, wait, oh no. Here, can you res it?
Down.
My servants never die.
Good mail.
Ooh, ooh, ooh. Spread out. McCree bottom right also.
So it is kind of crazy to me too. If your goal is to climb, if your goal is just to have fun, you do whatever you want in the planet.
Okay,
But
time.
if your goal is to climb,
Why did you stand there?
it is kind of weird to me that you guys are in a 6 stack but don't have a tank.
Coming in with all.
I rallied. With the rally ruse.
Yeah, live. Live.
Be there in a few seconds.
I don't want to comment too much on your Moira because it's so different from Ana that it's not going to do you very much good. I can tell you that your positioning is still pretty bad, so that's something that carries over. And I showed you some good positionings earlier for Ana, which are very different than Moira, which is part of the reason I don't want to go into it.
She's so low, I'm trapped. Help, Mom.
Oh, I got Roadhog. Thank you for that. Oh
Yep.
my god, you're a lifesaver.
Don't die, man, number 3.
Get the mercy, mercy, mercy.
Oh, wall. Get the wall down.
I can't. 3 seconds. 2 seconds. 1
Get
second.
this, break.
Break. Nice. Rod. She flew too
Nice.
high.
Happy for you guys that was a draw. Never needed to end that way in the slightest, but I am happy that you guys didn't lose that because you guys should have won that so easily. Especially, like, I can't aim. Your Tracer probably did more than the rest of your team combined. But that's not a problem. We have some positioning stuff to work on, first and foremost. Then we have some cooldown stuff to work on, and we'll start doing much better right off the bat. Make sure that we're saving our sleep for actual reasons, not just shooting it randomly. Make sure that we're not using our nade just to heal. We are using it to land antis, and if we are using it to heal, it's for an important reason. Like we saved our Ryan right when he was about to die, not just because we can't aim. We shouldn't use our nade to supplement our aim. It's not a great choice. Then we got to make sure that on our positioning that we're not suiciding, that we're not spending all this time to get into a bad position, and that we're not rotating to bad positions in the heat of the moment. And you'll start having a lot better time. Lastly, on Ana, we need to make sure that we're pocketing our tanks. Ana's job is the tanks. That end of story. Is it good to heal other people? Sometimes, yes. Sometimes we need to heal our DPS, especially if they're doing great, or our other healer? Yes. But your job on Ana is the tanks. They need to be your first priority.